Hello and welcome to our series, SCORE, the Best Kept Secret. I am your host, Giovanni Bedoya. I am a SCORE volunteer, SCORE mentor, and I am here today with a guest where we're going to be speaking about his experiences at SCORE and what he's done at SCORE. So welcome. Tell us, what is your name and what do you do?
Yes, my name is Steve Bobick. I too am a SCORE counselor. I've been doing this volunteer work for about 5 years now.
Awesome, Steve. Thank you for coming on our show today. So tell me a little bit, what got you into SCORE? How did you become a volunteer?
Okay, about 5 years ago, David Toon approached me and asked me if I would be willing to take a look at SCORE. He told me a little bit about it, and he said, based on your experience, I think you'd be good at it and you'd have some fun. And here we are 5 years later, and I'm still having fun, hopefully helping some people out there, and that's how it got started.
Yeah, so it has been fun. Give me one of those fun examples. What have you been able to do to make SCORE fun?
Well, the fun part is meeting the people, meeting the clients, the people who come to us with great ideas, great stories, want to go in business for themselves, and for whatever reasons, you haven't thought it through or weren't aware of some of the things that they have to do. And we can sit down in multiple sessions and go through that, and they come out of it with the knowledge that they need to actually start the business and get it going.
Great. Tell me a little bit about your past. Are you retired or are you still out there in the workforce?
I am retired. I'm 72 years old, and I sold my business about 6 years ago. And I always kept a pretty busy pace, so I couldn't just go from working 50 or 60 hours a week to doing nothing. So I started to volunteer for not-for-profits. Right. And right now I'm involved with 9 not-for-profits.
Just a few.
Pardon me?
Just a few.
Just a few. Just enough to keep me out of the house and out of the way of my wife, who's not retired yet.
I totally understand that.
It's her domain. She was used to it, and I can't get in the way.
So what type of business did you run in the past?
The business I sold 6 years ago is a consulting business. We went into other organizations and looked at what they spent on their phone bills, electric bills, gas bills, water, sewer, basically all the utilities.
Sure.
We were looking for errors in the bills so that we could get them refunds, or looking for ways of reducing what they were spending. And then our fee was based on a share of the refunds or a share of the monthly savings.
Oh, okay.
If we found nothing or they decided to do nothing, we got nothing.
Mm-hmm. So it was almost like a pro bono type of environment, right?
Until they got a refund or until they got savings, yeah. But ran that for 20 years. We got to the point where we were doing $2 million a year in revenue, had 18 employees, and we did business all over the United States.
That's great. That's a great stat, because we know how important small business is to this country and the economy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you said you did it for 20 years.
Right.
What did you do before that?
Before that, I worked in various sales and IT positions. I sold software for retail point of sale, for fuel oil dealers, you name it, I probably had my hand in it. So
you have quite some experience to share to our clients.
Exactly.
That's great to hear, and you, as many others, do the same thing. So thank you for what you do with SCORE.
You're welcome.
Do you have any particular stories, any success stories you want to share with maybe someone you helped out?
Well, there's a number. I mean, the idea is that you meet with someone and you have no idea if you'll ever see them again. There's a number of clients who I've sat with and talked about what they want to do and looked at their business plan, if you will. Talked about how much money it would take to start it and how much money do you have to start it. Well, I have nothing.
Sure.
So some of them turned out to be one meeting and you don't see them again, and others, there's several clients that I've been mentoring for over 3 years now.
Wow, that's great.
One in particular started with nothing and is now billing almost $750,000 a year in revenue.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, it's great. It's very rewarding to me.
Yeah, definitely. And it keeps you busy.
It keeps
along
me busy.
With your 9 other nonprofits.
Right.
And so what do you think about SCORE and the future, how we're now recording podcasts and videos, and what is your view on the technology and how we've progressed?
Well, it's a great thing because I mean, one of the things we talk about to our clients is that you must embrace social media. I mean, when I ran my business 20 years ago, you had a website and you threw out some emails and maybe some constant contact, but today it's so different. You will not survive if you don't stay up to date with technology and social media. Yeah. So I think we were a little bit behind, and what we want to do is catch up and get ahead of the curve. Sure. Because we're advising our clients on this. We sure better use it ourselves.
And don't forget to follow our website, our Facebook, because we also have some at SCORE now, right? So we're very excited to have that as well, along with many other great features. So what else can someone out there watching this, what can they gain from SCORE? What else can we offer to them?
Well, what we're talking about? Think we've talked about this on the podcast, but the education portion of what SCORE has is phenomenal. You know, how to start your own business. It's a course at RAC that we try to encourage clients, if they haven't gone through this course, to do it. Some of them actually come to us because they've gone through the course. Yeah. But to have exposure to the kind of talent that we have in our group of approximately 50 counselors, you have entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are involved in retailing, manufacturing, the restaurant business, so, you know, and accounting and legal, so that whatever the needs of the clients are, if I don't have that information when we first meet, we can bring them in on subsequent meetings.
Wow, it's true. I mean, just the little time I've spent with SCORE, I've been able to sit in on a few sessions, and I sat in during a nonprofit consultation, and it was very important for the information that we shared to that client, because they weren't aware of all the things they needed to know. They, you know, like most people that are not aware of the educational piece, right, go out, open a bank account or submit for a tax ID number, but don't realize there are so many other details behind that.
That's correct, yeah.
And those little things can come back to haunt you.
We're actually getting a lot more interest in not-for-profits at SCORE. Part of it is the fact that they're losing their funding. Yeah. It's getting diminished every year, and they are the worst salespeople for their own businesses. Yeah. So we try to help them develop marketing plans and how to sell themselves, how to find grants and apply for grants. Because again, there's a lot going on out there they're not aware of.
And you touched up on the education piece. I know that there's also other resources we have for our clients, and funding is always a big question. Would you share a story maybe where someone looking for funding who had no options, like what do we do for them?
Well, some of the best ideas I've seen from clients that I've mentored were ones that, you know, there was an upfront cost of $360,000, and there was no way of showing a profit for 2 years. Sure. I mean, you couldn't get funding from anybody, but we do have retired bankers in our group, and they still have active contacts in the field that can help. But sometimes what we do is try and revisit that. Do you really need $360,000 to start this business, or could you start it on 100? And what kind of collateral do you have? Because if you're going to go to a bank and want $100,000, they're going to want to know how much of that 100,000 you're going to put up. So, and a lot of the people that come to us don't understand that.
Yeah, it's very tough. I mean, funding, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges that we face as entrepreneurs, and that's just something we need to address. And you hit it right on the head. You can revisit some of that business planning ahead of time to try to capture that. That's great. So, is there any other messages you have for our audience now, as such an experienced person, entrepreneur, someone who's been there, done that? Anything you can offer to anyone?
Well, I mean, I think our title says it all, the best kept secret. 20 years ago when I started, or 25 years ago when I started my business, I didn't even know SCORE existed. Yeah. I wish I had. Yep. There could have been mistakes that I made, eliminated, and maybe made life easier for me and my family.
Sure.
So we need to get the word out there, let people know we're here and what we can do for them.
Definitely. So I want to thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank the audience for tuning in. And please make sure you check back with us next week, because we will have a whole new show for you. Make sure you follow our Facebook page, check out our website. Thanks again. I'm Giovanni, your host with SCORE. See you next week.
Check back next week for more stories from SCORE, the best kept secret, here on the People Chronicles. Like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. If you would like to access our services or volunteer with SCORE, visit our website, berksschuylkillscore.com.